it's my little thank you for being here today, this morning, rather than being on the spa, because I know that that is very, very appealing indeed. I might or might not go before leaving the conference for sure. And I have to say something in Mahaba. Yes. See, this is my skill to learn new languages in 5 minutes before the day of my presentation. But yes, there's that. Thankfully, you have the translation in real time, and I'll make sure to, yes, speak a little bit slower today than usual to make it easy for many of you. And I really, really appreciate the opportunity to be presenting in this wonderful conference. Second time, but honestly, you wouldn't tell. I go to a lot of events, and this is top-notch. This is magnificent. And the work that has been done by Jack Moore and team, who are not even necessarily focused on doing only that, is mind-blowing. So really, really appreciate the chance to be able to enjoy and experience this with all of you today. And enough about me. Today, I'm going to start the day, because I haven't had enough coffee, sharing a little bit of my feelings regarding certain ways of AI search in general before going specifically into e-commerce, right? Like I am a little bit tired, as I imagine a few of you are as well, that AI has killed SEO, right? There's so much clickbait, unfortunately, lately. It is like this. Overhyped by some AI bros that I so-called AI bros, and non-specialized publication, thank you very much. Realistically, most decision makers are asking about it. And I hear all the time, it's like, Aleyda, so much information, like 80% or even 90% of the information out there right now on LinkedIn is about AI search. It's literally bringing 2% of the traffic of my site. Should I spend so much wasting my time talking about it again and again? And I'm like, look, my boss is asking me about it, or my decision maker, or my clients, or like, so I believe that it's still worthy to address it in a way that is reasonable, that is grounded, that is a little bit realistic. Thank you very much. At the end of the day, because of this, funnily enough, when addressing and asking about AI search, decision makers and non-technical people, non-SEOs, they refer to it about like AI search, in most cases, not GEO or AIO or LLMO or whatever new acronym. Also, something important to clarify with data, right? With data that at least we have access to. And I know that it's not perfect, but it says that LLMs are expanding, not killing search as a discovery channel, since plus 95% of ChatGPT users also use Google. It's not that they are switching from one to the other. They are using it for different use cases as well, and not in exclusive terms, each one of the platforms. Oops, it's true, it's the other way around. So, and it's true that also we have finally data from ChatGPT directly saying how people are actually using ChatGPT, how they are using the platform, not only for asking, which is what they used to do, or they continue to do with traditional search, but also doing and expressing, right? I don't know if you have heard how when the latest model was released, like a bunch of people, unfortunately, they started to share online how they have lost their best friend, which is very, very sad. But ultimately, a lot of people are using now LLMs in different ways, not only to search for stuff, as we expect them to do in traditional search, but also for doing many other stuff, a lot of other stuff as well, and task-oriented type of actions as well. And what about AI mode? Because ultimately, this is what is going to end up shaping or changing or influencing the way that we search right now, or that people search, because it's the interface of pretty much the search, right? Realistically, it hasn't been pushed to as a default experience, which is when I expect that it will finally be adopted or not, or end up shaking things as we know it. But as it is going so far in the way that is being included and featured within the SERPs as the next journey of AI overviews, or as an option, as a little tap above in the search engine, as many other vertical options of search. And August, late August, SimilarWeb shared that it only had 3% of daily usage in the US and 3.5% in the UK. Then also, we heard how Google VP of product for search mentioned that they were going to start including more and more links within the answer, so there's definitely that, and hopefully happens. Then on the other hand, talking about why, yet another reason, let's say, SEO is still a thing, LLMs also rely a lot on something that is grounding when factual information, real-time information is needed, right? Integrating with the search features, whether with collaboration. So for example, OpenAI has a collaboration with Microsoft for that, official collaboration for Microsoft. And of course, Google, its own LLM, Gemini, they have their biggest index out there already for that. Funnily enough, ChatGPT is also even using Google, as it was documented on a research that was published some weeks ago, a couple of months ago. Funnily enough, this is something that I had tested myself because I had found, literally as part of the answer of ChatGPT, the rewarded description of one of my pages that was shown in the SERPs and was not even on the page or in the meta description of the page that I had created. So yes, very cheeky of you, ChatGPT, OpenAI, right there. So finally, we say, okay, Aleyda, this is great. So SEO is not dead, just evolving. We have heard many times also how Googlers, and this is from one of the latest presentations of Danny Sullivan, saying good SEO is also good geo, or whatever you want to call it, which I agree. So does that mean that we go now and enjoy the spa because we're here and we need to make the most out of this beautiful location? Yes? Let's go? Or not? Well, this is the thing. I believe that it is a little bit too soon, right? This is something new, of course. Well, just everybody together discovering all of this, identifying new opportunities. Behaviors are being shaped as we speak as well, right? So good SEO might be good geo, or whatever you want to call it, but the real question here, I believe, is if traditional Google-oriented SEO, as we do it, because we need to remind ourselves that we do a blend of SEO, focus on the search engine that most people use in the Western world. I was using Shenzhen 2 weeks ago, and they don't use it. They use other platforms as search engines, and they also do SEO, but for other search engines with all the signals, with all the blends of what is relevance and popularity and authority, and the format of results for them as well, and they still do SEO, by the way. But our way to do SEO, because of what we use in the Western world, is Google, is very Google-shaped, right? So my question here is, this traditional Google SEO way to do things or way to optimize is enough to succeed in AI search? Well, realistically, there are shifts due to AI platforms' characteristics, right? We have new interfaces and formats in answers. We have functionalities that are being released every day. We have a very important weight of memory and interaction of the user. We have search integration as well in different ways. We also should aim to leverage each AI platform's specific features and preferences, like the one that ChatGPT just released a few days ago for e-commerce. Hello, this is huge. This is literally position them as the first player trying to keep the user completely within their interface in order to convert, perform the full journey directly with them without having to leave. So today I want to share a few trends, a few insights, because I believe that a lot of the information that we also have regarding AI search have to do with informational sites, because unfortunately, of course, they have been the ones that have been impacted the most, that for sure, because of their business model, right? They sell impressions, they make money out of the impressions, raw visits that they get. But a lot of us also work with transactional-oriented website, with e-commerce, commercially focused websites, and there's a lot going on in there. And I believe that is also undocumented, not so documented as it should. So let's go through it and let's identify patterns and opportunities in order to be able to communicate them and to have better criteria to navigate all of these changes, right? And this is the thing, right? I'm not going to deny this because it's obvious. And don't worry for many of you taking pictures because I'm going to be sharing the slides as well. So I will be sharing a lot of insights, a lot of documents and resources, so no worries about this. They will have a little bit of a link at each, down of each one of them as well. But this is a reality. If we go to all of the tools out there showing the inclusion of the verticals, of AI overviews within each type of verticals, we are going to see that e-commerce is one of the least impacted, right? There are not so many AI overviews still today for commercial transactional type of queries, or product-related queries, which are the ones that trigger e-commerce or are interesting or relevant for e-commerce site, right? There hasn't been this big alligator or crocodile effect that we see a lot on informational sites. And e-commerce is like, yeah, there has been like a little bit of a downtrend here at the end that, yeah, because Google stopped supporting the top 100 SERPs that a few tools used to scrape, or platforms, let's say. But yes, no alligator effect here, as we can see, that is very common on websites that are over-relying or were over-relying on broader type of topics for traffic, top of the funnel type of traffic, not only purely informational sites. I have quite a few SaaS clients that had that effect as well. And in this case, what has impacted shopping SERPs is realistically this, the inclusions of videos, images, products, explore brands. People also ask. All of this is what has, in many, many occasions, as far as I can see, impacted not necessarily positively, in many times also negatively, because they have kept the user engaged in the SERPs and have only ended up sending the user at the very end of their customer journey when they actually want to go to the PDP, to the product details page to convert, right? However, it's also true that AIOs, AI overviews, that serve as the major entry point to AI mode so far, have been increasing in e-commerce SERPs as well, with a slight decrease at the end in the last few weeks. That is true. But yes, the trend, the overall trend is positive. And I have found that for those queries, whenever AI overviews and product packs are shown together that are more commercial related or product related, these are broader terms, right? These are not very long tail. For the very long tail, much more specific terms, AI overviews are not shown for commercial queries, product-related queries. It is the product packs instead. But when both are, it's because these are broader type of terms. But when moving further to AI mode, right? When we go and switch with AI mode, it is interesting how in these cases, there is a much bigger blend of the format that is not purely informational as the one of the AI overviews, but it's true that there are product packs being shown in AI mode in this case. And when we click in any of these products of the product pack, we get the typical product knowledge panel, featuring not only links to the PDPs, but also an aggregation of the ratings and reviews and so on. And we also know now, because it has been already a few months and there have been tests being developed, this very recent one, published by Kevin Indig, showing that what we all knew is actually happening. There are fewer clicks happening in AI mode, and those clicks that end up happening at the end of the user journey are very transactional, are being done pretty much to go to the final stage of their journey. So, yeah, can we say yay, e-commerce? At least you get those very end of the journey clicks because you're not yet integrated with their interface as many are or many will be pushed to be with ChatGPT now. There's definitely that. So I went and checked some data with SimilarWeb, taking a look at the top e-commerce sites in the world. We have the top 15 here, getting more traffic. This is the organic search traffic share of each one of them. These are organic search monthly visits compared with their AI traffic. So Amazon, yes, 585 millions per month in organic search, 3.2 million in AI traffic. So yeah, it's not necessarily game-changing for them, right? It's a lot, but not necessarily game-changing there. And we can see that the ratio here is not necessarily that low, and the percentage of AI traffic based on the overall referral one is still very low, with very few exceptions as well, if you have somewhat already established organic search positioning, right, and effort and process going on, of course. However, it's true that the trend is growing fast, with some recent exceptions. A lot has been talked about how in the last recent weeks, there's less of ChatGPT traffic being referred in some cases, but the trend for most of the e-commerce sites that I check is also positive. The thing is, it's not fair that we assess AI traffic or AI search as a channel purely by the traffic, because we know that the outcome with AI search shouldn't be only performance-based or performance-focused. There's a brand play here. There's a branding and reputation factor as well, because as a lot of research has shown, people skim but still make decisions in AI mode. There's an influence in these answers because of their formats and because of how people are interacting with them, right? So a background research that was recently published also shows purchasing decisions are being made in LLMs, even if users leave converting elsewhere because they don't have the capacity, they don't have the option yet to do it in LLMs. So yes, there's an influence there. There's power there. It's not fair that we only assess the potential and how important it is, this new channel, purely by the raw traffic that it sends, right? So let's understand it better. Let's go through a few verticals in e-commerce: backpacks, headphones, sneakers, jeans, sunglasses. Let's take a look at what is getting most of the AI search visibility, how that correlates with AI traffic, what are the partners that we can identify also in the pages that attract this traffic, and the type of formats in the answers, in order to somehow start establishing some principles, some main characteristics that allow us to prioritize our AI search optimization efforts accordingly, right? So for backpacks, we have the top AI sources with a blend of mostly retailers, specialized publications, and very few established brands, as we can see. We can see how, yes, we have REI, which is a main player in the US, a main retailer. We have the Wikipedia, of course. How come? It wouldn't be. But we have a Vogue, because they write and they cover a lot about backpacks. We have the North Face. We have Forbes, because they still write about backpacks, despite all of the affiliate shake that happened with them. Not how top retailers are attracting AI traffic with expert advice pages, not only and not purely with the typical type of pages that will attract traditional organic search, which will be categories pages or the homepage. No, a lot of this is happening from AI with expert-driven content, advice pages, besides the long tail of PLPs and PDSPs as well. These are pages, this is content that answer questions like which camping tents offer the best weather resistance, where products, by the way, are also shown, as we can see here, are also shown as an option, triggered by a carousel, by a product carousel that will end up generating this star of product knowledge panel. And all of this is blended with informational content within the answer, within the same format. So there's a big blend going on. It's not purely an informational or transactional or commercial type of answer. In this case it was ChatGPT answer. On the other hand, the AI mode answer doesn't feature any product carousel, despite mentioning products in an informational format. We're referring mainly informational sources as well. So we can see that it's very, very different, right? There is no pattern here. We cannot assume what works in ChatGPT will exactly work in AI mode. It doesn't. And when we compare the top pages attracting AI traffic, these are also completely different versus the ones attracting most of organic search, besides the homepage. So yeah, there's that. And I went through a lot of this. Jeans, although there's a bigger share of brands used as a source, most are specialized fashion publications. The pages attracting most AI traffic from a specialized publication feature reviews and advice on the latest trends. In this case, there's more consistency in the format and sources of the two AI platforms, comparing AI mode versus ChatGPT answers, but still major differences in the way that they are constructed, that the format is generated, right? So yeah, trying to establish patterns here, it is very, very difficult. Headphones, specialized publications, along with brand sites and their support centers, hello, the importance of actual UGC and actual information that solve problems, post-sales problems, not only pre-sales, let's say, which are used as top sources. In those scenarios for which PDPs get AI traffic is via product specification and functionality questions. So pages like this, right, that are very rich and don't only have this generic description at the start, but they have a video, they have images, they have specification, they have a wealth of reviews and ratings and Q&As and FAQs to address real customer questions and problems, right? Sunglasses, a mix of specialized publications along with medical ones and brands that are featured as top sources as well. And we can see how, again, the brand side attracts major AI traffic, not with their PDPs or PLPs, but with guides, FAQs, and support content, addressing questions like which Ray-Ban frames are the best for an oval face, for example. Look at how many of the sources not only come from the official site, but from UGC, user-generated content from Reddit, for example. I know we all love to hate Reddit, by the way, but that's the case. And how, even if the question, you would assume that it's very informational, it also triggers this product carousel that end up also triggering a product knowledge panel as well. Sneakers is a little bit of more of the same, so I'm not going to bore you with a little bit of that. And so you might say at this point, okay, Aleyda, we've gone through a few cases already. What do these e-commerce AI search visibility and traffic scenarios that are very dissimilar? Thank you very much. Tell us about it. The first thing, and these are the type of tips and advice that I would like you to stick with to think about this. You can't set the same goals and use the same metrics for AI search as you do with traditional search, or even between different AI search platforms. There isn't a clear correlation or pattern here. They are different platforms at the end of the day, and people are using them for different scenarios, and their outcome is very personalized as well. And this is due to LLMs, answer influence, and exposure, right? Also, we cannot try to use or measure set goals for AI search in the same way that we did for traditional search. In traditional search, we focus a lot on performance, and we need to become a little bit of more marketeers now with AI search, because we will need to take a lot branding into consideration, because there's a play, there's an influence, there's a clear influence and exposure of being cited positively or negatively in this type of answer. So my recommendation here is that, yes, you should definitely assess your current AI traffic behavior and conversion performance, and you can do it completely for free in this very nice Looker Studio dashboard, by the way, to better understand which are the main platforms already sending you traffic, how is this performing, how it is converting, to which pages they are going, and so on. You can also identify 2 or 3 maximum, I would say, AI search platforms that have the biggest potential towards your specific audience to focus on them. You can use tools like SparkToro, like SimilarWeb, to identify where the audience is actually engaging. You can assess and compare the different AI platforms' answers, formats, and preferences towards publications, brand, and UGC sites to prioritize your efforts based on what you see within your own context and the formats and the answers. I love this feature, by the way, of Systrix that allow us to compare very quickly, easily, head-to-head comparison of the output for the same questions, for the same prompts, between ChatGPT or Gemini and other AI platforms. And you should proactively monitor and test based on each AI platform product inclusion, specifications, and criteria. The documentation of OpenAI regarding how products are selected, how merchants are selected. They change this literally the same day that they release their on-click buy, purchasing, product integration, their e-commerce agentic features. They didn't say anything about it. You need to monitor these pages all the time, and you should proactively start to play and test and integrate. I mean, it should be very straightforward if you have Shopify, but if you don't, I will, in any case, apply and see how you can leverage the existing feeds that you have for Google Merchant Center in order to reformat them and to have the capacity at some point when you are approved to start integrating with them as well. Second, assess AI search behavior and visibility without obsessing over these individual prompts and answer inclusions that you see in tools, in third-party tools. Instead, take their dynamic, personalized context nature into account to identify topics and content formats opportunities. I like, by the way, how Href is taking this approach of rather than going through individual prompts only or responses, they organize and they allow you to organize and say, okay, which are the main topics connected to my brand versus these other brands? Tell me and show me how we are included for all of these different topics, which are the gaps, who's winning for which are the opportunities, and of course, if you dig further, if you click further, you will get the prompts samples for each one of them. But we need to take them as that, like that, as samples, rather than obsessing for them to identify topics, opportunities, and gaps, and prioritize those topics for which there's a higher share of answers consistently grounded, for which search connection to the index is actually needed. That can be a little bit more influence, right? And most AI trackers, LLM trackers, allow you to do this. Third, you need to establish on-brand, comprehensive, topical authority, targeting the full customer journey with helpful, multimodal, indexable information that highlights your unique selling proposition and genuinely helps customer. Your approach after AI overviews cannot be, we won't be investing in informational content anymore because these type of answers will be addressed anyway with AI overviews and people will fulfill with those simple answers. Well, maybe if you target only shallow type of content or information. But if you want to showcase your real unique selling proposition, your real know-how, your real brand advantage, if you want to be actually helpful for your users, that shouldn't be the case. You should be sharing industry insights, product insights, business and product-related UGC as well, with reviews, Q&As, help center, forums, your product descriptions, features, comparison, FAQs, your research, and so on. This should be genuinely helpful. And I know, I work with a lot of e-commerce and marketplaces. They hate to invest in the full journey. They love to invest only in commercially oriented, transactional content. But this is not how you establish authority on one hand. And this is not how you actually remain helpful to your potential customer. How you make your customer to come back and decide on clicking on you rather than going to your competitor, right? And I love how the players like REI, and I love to cite REI, among other things, because they're one of the main competitors of one of my top clients, and they keep doing great things. They keep integrating informational content in a way that totally makes sense in the customer journey, that is actually helpful, that is not fluff. Right? So they show that how you can align UX to make it happen in a good way. You can also use AI optimization tools like YK, and you have them just at the exit here with Dixon. This is Dixon's tool that allows us to easily identify your topic gaps versus your competitors to prioritize accordingly, to close these AI topic gaps or topic gaps that AI will identify as well, along with content optimization tools like keyword insights to ensure topical coverage at the page level as well. And remember EEAT? Everybody wanted to joke about it, and we thought like all of these debates over social about if it is a real ranking factor or not, if we should be obsessing about it or not. My take back then was, I don't care, because it's actually helpful for your real human customer, thank you very much, and makes your content better, and that is what I care about. Well, take a look at what principles remain true today in order to be able to be cited, in order to be able to be endorsed. They need to be accurate, up-to-date, well-structured, and authoritative as well, experience-based as well. And all of this stuff is what EAT guide you to do at the end of the day. Also, remember to not use client-side render JavaScript for your PLPs, PDPs content, since non-Google AI search platforms cannot render. I love Cyboop in order to identify the gap quite easily between client-side render, JavaScript, and the raw HTML. Very, very easy to identify at scale as well. This only doesn't apply to text, but your images and videos, which should be crawlable, indexable, and relevant. And there's so many thumbnails out there that are lazy loaded, that over-rely on client-side render JavaScript, and so on. You need to double-check on that. Have you also additionally checked if your robots.txt, CDNs, or firewalls, or hosting are blocking any AI bots by default as well? Well, I have a couple of sites on a certain hosting service that I won't name that by default was blocking them. And I had no idea. Take a look at this little checker, free checker that you can use to identify if any AI bots are getting this disconnect status whenever they try to crawl your site. Also, look for an increase of fraud force in your log files due to LLMs hallucinations. Unfortunately, they still happen. And optimize your not found page to facilitate crawlability by humans as well, if the users end up landing there. Fourth, growing your authoritativeness is a must. Going beyond typical traditional actions or tactical in building with actual community engagement and digital PR efforts for positive coverage, citations, backlinks, or mentions even only from media sites, positive mention from relevant social platforms and communities. All of these align with your brandings beyond the activities that you're already doing with link building. I have a few SaaS clients that do a lot of DevRel type of activity with developers in YouTube, in Reddit, and a lot of third-party platforms that end up getting a lot of referrals, a lot of citations, and positive sentiments towards it. Identify the sites and platforms that are used consistently as citation sources for your relevant topics. A lot of LLM trackers allow us to identify this, to see and establish which are the important platforms for us. UGC, aggregators, specialized publications, and I'm not saying to identify them and spam them. No, work with your actual marketing specialists, marketing department, with your digital PR people, with your community managers in order to align efforts. Also, you're included, great. Is the sentiment positive or negative, though? Because maybe if you're mentioned, even with a link, but the mention is negative, maybe that is not so good. Again, a lot of LLM trackers allow us to identify if it is a positive or negative sentiment, so you can take action or prioritize or to inform about that to these other teams accordingly. Finally, the final questions here. These AI optimizations efforts are aligned or not to what you're already doing in your traditional SEO action plan, in your traditional SEO process? This is a question that you should ask, and based on the answer, you will prioritize these actions accordingly, right? So 5 questions here to identify, to align, to understand if you should do a lot. If not, because maybe if you have a very well-established, mature SEO process, you should only do a few shifts in each one of the activities that you are already doing anyway, and problem solve. You have already integrated AI as a platform to maximize the opportunities. This is the thing. Realistically, this is something new. So we always need to leave space for flexibility, for testing, for discovering new opportunities. Every single week, there's something discovered. Every single week, it amazed me how we come back to the same topic. So this was a few weeks ago, in which people were still debating if using structured data was meaningful or not. I believe that it was the RAG. I believe Mark here, who's going to speak later, also was mentioning the outcome of some tests. And honestly, I believe that this is beautiful. It's great. It's great, even if you thought that, yes, it's super meaningful, structured data, and I will rank in AI. Like, perfect. We should keep our minds open and to be open to learn all the time, to be proactive and be flexible and understand and validate in our own scenarios as well. Which is why, this is a reminder, we need first-party data about AI search user behavior of our own content to better understand what's working well, consistently, realistically, firsthand, from the first source, direct source, rather than relying on third-party platforms. And this will allow us to advance faster, to make better decisions, and to not believe on whatever buzz we see out there quite easily, and to show proof to decision makers, right? And if you want to take the next steps, because Martin is already seeing him here like, oh, Aleyda, shut up. I want to go on stage. No. All good, all good? OK. Final things here. If you want to take the next steps, Aleyda, too fast, too little, too focused on e-commerce. I have a SaaS website. I have a publication. No worries. I have resources for you as well. You can download the AI search optimization checklist for free here. Completely free. It's a checklist, resource that I am updating all the time, also with the new insights that are being discovered every week by our amazing community that is proactively sharing and testing all the time. And you can learn more about AI search optimization, also with free, reliable resources that I attempt to aggregate. It's very difficult because there's, again, a lot of stuff being published every single week, but I try to make the most to keep it updated. And you will here find stuff that is actually reasonable, reliable, that is grounded, that is realistic, and no fluff. And if you want to keep up with the latest AI search news, there's now a full section in SEOFOMO about the AI search insights here that are being shared all the time. Honestly, there have been a few weeks in which it has been very, very challenging for me to try to feature something that is not AI search related. This is the state of things lately, yes. But GEO is dead. This is the last slide, pretty much. GEO is dead. Long life e-commerce SEO for AI mode, ChatGPT, TikTok, YouTube, Baidu, any platform used for search. Because realistically, our activity, our discipline, what we do, shouldn't necessarily be tied by a particular platform. We optimize for whatever platform the audience will use and use to consume information and to buy stuff, which is what we do as marketers and SEO specialists at the end of the day. Thank you very much.